In this video, I will share the 8 biggest takeaways that have changed how I think about becoming and living like a millionaire. Welcome back to Paycheck Powerhouse. Today, we're diving into one of my all-time favorite finance books, The Millionaire Next Door. It's an absolute game changer when it comes to personal finance. It's packed with some seriously surprising insights about wealth and what it actually takes to be financially successful. If you've ever thought I'll never be rich unless I make a ton of money, this book is going to prove you wrong. This book shows us that millionaires are often nothing like what we imagine. Spoiler alert, most of them aren't driving Ferraris or living in mansions. So grab a coffee and let's break down what The Millionaire Next Door teaches us with some examples you can definitely relate to. Let's start with one of the biggest myths. You have to earn a 6-figure income to be rich. No, that's not true at all. In fact, most millionaires don't make huge salaries. They aren't the CEOs or tech billionaires you see on TV. They're teachers, electricians, and small business owners. The Millionaire Next Door found that people who earn modest incomes can actually end up wealthier than high-income professionals who spend too much. Take this example. Picture a plumber who makes about $70,000 a year. He drives a used truck, lives in a comfortable but not flashy house, and saves a solid chunk of his income. Over 20 years, he could be sitting on a $1 million nest egg thanks to saving and smart investing. Meanwhile, a lawyer earning $200,000 a year but spending like crazy on cars, dining out, and luxury vacations could be struggling with debt. It's all about how much you save, not just about how much you earn. So how little income does it actually take to be a millionaire? This is where things get really eye-opening. You don't need a high-paying job to build wealth. The key is saving diligently and investing wisely over time. There's this simple formula from the book. Multiply your age by your annual pre-tax income, then divide by 10. That's how much you should be worth. For example, let's say you're 40 years old and you make $60,000 a year. According to the formula, your target net worth should be around $240,000. If you're above that, you're what they call prodigious accumulator of wealth. If you're below it, you might be an under-accumulator of wealth, which means you're probably spending more than you should. Even if you're not there yet, don't worry. It's all about building those smart financial habits now so you can grow your wealth over time. Even small adjustments can lead to big results. Okay, let's talk about one of the biggest secrets to wealth: living below your means. Most millionaires aren't living the high life. They're living smart. The book found that millionaires often live in modest neighborhoods, drive used cars, and don't splurge on the latest gadgets or designer clothes. So let me give you an example. Imagine a couple who are both teachers. They make a combined $90,000 a year. They live in a nice but not extravagant house, drive their cars until they can't anymore, and prioritize saving. Over time, they're able to invest in retirement accounts and even some real estate. By the time they're ready to retire, they've built up a $1 million portfolio. Meanwhile, their neighbor, a doctor who earns 3 times as much, has a luxury car lease, a massive mortgage, and is barely scraping by because his expenses are through the roof. See how that works? It's not about how much you earn, it's about how much you keep. If you're curious about how to calculate your take-home pay to make sure you're correctly budgeting your funds, I put together an exclusive video for you which includes the income formula I use to distribute my paycheck. Simply go to paycheckpowerhouse.com/income-formula linked below for you as well. One thing millionaires do really well, they budget. According to the book, 62% of millionaires follow a budget. I know, budgeting doesn't sound glamorous, but it's literally one of the most powerful tools for building wealth. To me, it's my favorite thing to do in a whole week. It's about control, controlling and managing where your money goes. Let's say you start tracking every single dollar you spend, your coffee runs, streaming subscriptions, impulse buys, everything. Sounds tedious? That's because it is. You don't need to track every single expense. Pick one category this month, the biggest one that you know deep down you're spending on. For me, it's food all day, every day. It wasn't until I pulled all the transactions for the month from grocery stores to restaurants to school lunches, all of them. I added them up and then I got my reality check. Huge difference between what you think you are spending and what you're actually spending. For women, it could be clothes, beauty products, makeup is very expensive, shoes. For men, it could be trips to Home Depot, video games. Hey, no judging here. When you see where your money is going, you can start cutting back on things that aren't bringing you value. First, try to stop the bleeding and get it under control by being more mindful about it. Start saying no more often. Suddenly, you free up a few $100s a month that you can put into savings or investments. That's exactly what millionaires do. They don't leave their financial future to chance. They plan it out and they manage it. That's called a budget. So if you don't have a budget yet, do not worry, my friend. Just start simple. List your income, track your expenses, and figure out where you can cut back. Even small adjustments can add up to big savings over time. This is where compounding comes in. Have more questions about budgeting? Here's a quick cheat sheet on top 10 mistakes people make when budgeting. It's completely free to you just because you're hanging out with me. Go to paycheckpowerhouse.com/top 10 mistakes when budgeting, also linked below for you. All right, we've all been there. Scrolling through Instagram, seeing people flaunt their new cars, designer clothes, and luxury vacations. But here's the thing. The people who look rich often aren't. And the people who are rich, you'd probably never know it. One of the biggest lessons from the Millionaire Next Door is that millionaires avoid consumerism. They don't spend their money on things that depreciate quickly, like fancy cars or the latest tech gadgets. They focus on building wealth, not showing it off. For example, while someone might lease a brand new luxury car every few years, a millionaire is more likely to buy a reliable used car and drive it until it doesn't run anymore. That saved money, they invested, which brings them closer to financial freedom. To this, I would add that once you get used to not having a lease, not having car payments, you never, ever, ever want to go back. So for me, at least, that has been a big driver to getting new cars every 3 to 5 years. In fact, I run my cars to the ground and they're about 10 years old until the maintenance cost of it is more expensive than the value of the car. That's when I traded in for a newer car with still mileage, not brand new, used, but low mileage that will cost me very little to maintain. So the next time you're tempted to splurge on something just to impress others, think about what that money could do for you if it were invested instead. Let's talk about investing because this is where millionaires really shine. They don't just let their money sit in a checking account. They make it work for them. The book emphasizes that millionaires are consistent investors. Half the work is saving, the other half of the work is to invest. You don't need to be an expert stock picker or have loads of cash to start investing. The key is to invest regularly, even if it's a small amount. For example, you could start with just $100 a month into an index fund. Over time, thanks to the magic of compound interest, that $100 a month could grow into tens of thousands of dollars. Key here is to start early and start the habit. Millionaires also diversify their investments. They might invest in a mix of stocks, bonds, real estate, or even their own businesses. The point is, they don't put all their eggs in one basket. By spreading out their investments, they reduce risk and increase their chance of long-term success. Lastly, let's talk about the long game. Building wealth isn't something that happens overnight. It takes time, patience, and discipline. Millionaires didn't get rich by luck or some one-time windfall. They built their wealth slowly through consistent savings, smart investments, and living below their means. Think of it like running a marathon. It's not about how fast you start, it's about staying the course and pushing through the ups and downs. Even if you're starting small, every step you take gets you closer to your financial goals. To recap, you don't need a six-figure salary to be wealthy. Live below your means, budget, invest consistently, and remember, wealth is built over time, not overnight. Thanks for watching today's video. If you found this helpful, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. Let me know in the comments what surprised you the most. Was it how little income it actually takes to be a millionaire, or something else? I can't wait to hear your thoughts. Don't forget about your free download linked below as well. Next, I share the 8 basic financial lessons every kid should be taught early to grow up financially successful. I'll see you there.